All right, so Alien, I actually decided to run with this. I think this is actually something that's kind of good for Alien, which is actually a complete aura build, right? So I have Lethal Pursuer at the start of the match, and that not only that, so when the start of the match, all the survivors are revealed, but also anytime a survivor's aura is shown for a period of time, its duration is increased by 2 seconds, right? And because of that, that partners up with barbecue and chili, right? When you hook a survivor, that 5 seconds becomes, 7 seconds. And also, you have nowhere to hide whenever you damage a generator. Reveal all the auras of all survivors standing within 24 meters. Since in the higher ranks, survivors like to just, hide all in one gen, this is a perfect perk to actually destroy a generator, and it gives you more reason to hit a generator, and then you can actually reveal all the survivors that are nearby. Now for Gearhead, while Gearhead is active, every time a survivor performs a good skill check while repairing, their aura is revealed to you as well. I think personally, like, aura builds for Alien is actually really good because of the whole teleportation mechanic. So he can just teleport, even though it's not as fast as compared to like other killers' teleportation. But I think it's actually because of that. Like, I think aura is actually really good for him, for him to aura farm. So that's just my opinion. I think Alien does really well with that. I think also the whole tail thing when people are dropping pallets is a great time to use the tail. I think you could definitely not use aura build if you really want to do that. I mean, I found another build that actually probably might work for him. Would probably be like a complete hex build like Demogorgon, because like I said, like Alien can teleport. But the only difference between him and Demogorgon with it, because Demogorgon I suggest for you guys to do a hex build, is because Alien actually can't really set up his teleportations. So because of that, it kind of changes my opinion on him, and that's why I'm thinking like aura builds would actually be better for him. Now for Chucky, I actually ran this build with Springtrap, and to only come to find out that I don't think this is actually perfect for Springtrap. I try my best with them, but I mean, it could work with it, but the only thing is that with Springtrap, is that there's no generator perks on that build. I feel like for Chucky though, Chucky is like really powerful, which is that, since he's so short, I honestly do think he is probably the most stealthiest character in the game. And because of that, I think we should work in with his strengths, which is why I'm actually bringing in machine learning. So when the compromised generator is completed, you gain undetectable and 8% haste for 60 seconds. So, you're undetectable, and you also, get haste. And I think haste is also really good for Chucky as well, which is why we're bringing batteries included. So a generator is completed, you get that 5% haste. Fugitive Chase. Now, Fugitive Chase, I actually don't mind. I think it is a good perk. Especially it partners up with the good guy if you actually really think about it. So Fugitive Chase is that when you hook an obsession, you get a 10% haste and undetectable for 18 seconds. And then Friends to the End, when you hook a survivor that is not exposed, the obsession becomes exposed for 20 seconds and reveals their aura for 10 seconds, right? So these perks actually do kind of partner up a little bit very well, because your obsession is going to be always constantly switching. And because of that, I think Friends to the End and Fugitive Chase actually, they just work really well and they mesh well together. Like I always talked about before though, I'm not actually going to be including add-ons. I feel like, if you're like me, maybe I'm pretty weird in this standpoint, but if you're like me, I don't actually like using add-ons for killers. And I know I'm weird about that, because the only reason why I don't like using add-ons for killers is it's quite simple. I just don't want to waste an add-on. I just don't want to waste an add-on. Now, I know if you guys, because for you guys, like, they're in the same position as me, right? We need to like constantly try to keep getting perks for our killer to actually get a build like this, right? So we need blood points. We use those blood points for other killers. So that's why I'm not going to include add-ons. Only very rarely I'll do it, because with Springtrap, I'm actually going to include 2 add-ons that I loved using. But, you guys can always pick what add-on would be good for you. Yeah. So for Springtrap, I actually decided to do something that is very interesting. So last time with Springtrap, if you guys been watching the streams, is that I love doing a haste build with him, right? I love doing it with him because I had the biggest complaint with movement speed. But then I started doing the custom matches, like I was saying. I do some custom matches when I'm off stream, or I'll just see if I can mesh well with it, right? And I'll just observe the perks. So with Springtrap, I actually found this that will work out, right? Which is actually Hex Plaything, right? It's because Plaything's totem aura is revealed to the cursed survivor within 60 meters of it, right? But here's the thing, though. They get an oblivious status effect, right? Until the Hex Plaything is cleansed. So my whole goal with Springtrap is to be really stealthy with him. And especially using the teleportation, you actually get and gain undetectable as well. Is so awesome because if you have unforeseen, right? The terror radius, your terror radius transfers over to the generator, right? For 30 seconds. You can use that time, hypothetically, to go to the door and teleport to somewhere else. Right? And you can actually get a jump on survivors, which is absolutely like freaking terrifying for them. So survivors would get jump scares from you, to be honest with you. And then you have the third seal. Hitting a survivor with a basic attack or a special attack with a Hex Totem is active, applies the blindness status effect. This effect applies to the last 4 survivors hit. The Hex effect persists as long as the related Hex Totem is standing. Right? So, another perk that actually will help out your game time with Springtrap that can actually make yourself, like I said, you know, you want to make yourself like super invisible in this time around. And I think invisible is actually really good to actually remove that terror radius and then just get the jump on survivors, because now at that point your movement speed doesn't really necessarily matter. But the add-ons that I love running with them. Now I know I just got done saying I don't like using add-ons because, you know, I'm afraid that, you know, I'm going to run out of them, and then at some point I'm just, you know, I'm just going to be out, right? Which is the Celebrate poster. While the axe is embedded in a survivor, all players within 32 meters gain 12% haste. So you get haste as well. And then the Foxy's hook gives you a 7% haste. So even if you miss the axe, you actually get 7% haste for 6 seconds, which usually gives you enough time to actually catch up to the survivor as well. It makes up that lost time if you missing on the axe. So the very final perk that I love bringing is actually Pop Goes the Weasel. But here's the thing though, you guys don't need to bring Pop Goes the Weasel if you don't want to. If you actually want to run like some type of haste, if you want to do that, of course, because I do think that you need kind of a generator kind of perk here, because if you don't have one, you're kind of like, survivors are going to get the generators done so fast. So if you know, because since you're downing survivors and you're getting, you know, undetectable all the time, and this also partners up very well with unforeseen as well. You know, you get the 20% generator, instantly losing the 20% on the generator, and then you also get unforeseen. So these two perks actually really partner up very, very well here, and which is why I actually like running Pop Goes the Weasel. Now, if you don't want to run Pop Goes the Weasel, you can always run one of the classic perks. Well, it's not a classic perk, I should say, but a perk that I love using, which is Scourge the Hook, Pain Resonance, which is that, you know, generators will instantly lose 20% of progress and will start to regress. I think because of that, like, I really do like this build so far with Springtrap. I try to make it work with the haste build with Springtrap. It's just that they were always constantly able to do the generators no matter what I do, and especially when you keep going high up in the ranks. It just becomes so freaking tough. So that's pretty much the build for all these killers, for the remaining killers here. I actually will cover more of the killers. I will cover more of them, but I have to unlock them. So as you guys can see, I have to unlock these kind of killers right here. And if you're asking about, like, okay, well, I mean, grab some perks. You know, the Shrine of Secrets, they always have them active. So you can always pick up those perks. Like Pop Goes the Weasel right now is actually for 2,000 shards if you want to go for that. But then at that point, you might as well just get the Clown, because the Clown, I think, was 2,000 shards anyways. Anyways, folks, if you guys actually like that build, maybe leave a like and subscribe and follow me on Twitch. That's all I'm saying. Because there you go.
Orange suit so loud it screams fight.